way.
Force.
Force.
The Force will be with you, always.
Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your source for everything Star Wars gaming. Each week, your host will go over the news, updates, and more that have been happening in the galaxy far, far away. Come join us and our community of like-minded fans as we dive deeper into Star Wars games, past, present, and future, Star Wars lore, and the new shows and movies as they get announced and released. Welcome to this episode of Star Wars Uplink. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and today I'm joined with Sydney Laurel. How are you doing?
Hello, hello.
In this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, our thoughts around that, some of our perspectives around that as well, and then we're going to jump in and talk about a recap of our thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett, episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, because that's how long it's been since we've recorded, and we'll get into that as well. So let's jump right in. So, we got hit by COVID a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You got hit, thankfully, very lightly by it.
Well, yeah, because it hit you first, so the virus just like smacked you in the face.
I was down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then it just kind of like looked at me and was like, "Oh, yeah, here you go. Here's a little bit of that." So you took the brunt of it, really.
I did. It was rough. The first few days were awful. Like, I felt like every single bone in my body was in pain. And then I felt good and started doing things, and I overdid myself, and it came back. So for week 2, so that's great. But we're back at it. We're thankfully both recovered. I don't think we have any knock-on effects. I can definitely feel like I'm working on rebuilding my breathing.
Yep.
I don't feel like I have that much capacity as I used to, but we're back at it. We're jumping on the podcast to talk about Star Wars, and I am so pumped to get back to the show and just have a place that we can all hang out, talk Star Wars video games, and starting this off, let's jump in and talk about LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
This huge game, originally supposed to come out in October of 2020. I think it was supposed to be, I can't remember if it was supposed to be October, and then it got delayed to, it was supposed to be October, and then it was delayed to early 2021, and then it got delayed indefinitely, and now we finally have the details that is going to come out in April.
Woohoo.
April 5th, I believe, is when we will be having this game in our hands. You're available to pre-order it. Again, I learned my lesson with Battlefield 2042 about pre-ordering games. So I'm definitely going to get this game for sure, but I'm going to wait until I go to a store or pick it up, or wait till launch day to pick it up. I'm not going to just pre-order it just because. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to jump on the pre-order bandwagon.
You gotta wait with the commoners.
Exactly. The last few games I pre-ordered didn't go so well. We have Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
And Battlefield 2042. So I'm 0 for 2 right now. Didn't go very well. So, but I'm definitely going to be, obviously we're going to get the game. I'm not going to pre-order it. I will get it on launch day or maybe the day before, but I'm not going to pre-order it right now. I'm going to wait until just play the field. I know there's if you get the physical edition, you get a Lego minifig. So maybe I do that.
Yeah.
I'm usually a digital games guy, but to get a minifig, that's pretty cool. It's a Luke with blue milk. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, April 5th, I believe, is when we're going to be getting this game. We have a lot of details. They uploaded a 6-minute video kind of highlighting the gameplay. We saw some of the planets. We saw some of the combat. We saw characters. There's going to be 300 characters that you will be able to play. It's maddening.
That is...
What?
My mind cannot comprehend. what that list will even look like.
That's a lot of characters. I
Uh-huh.
think the first Star Wars game that came out was like, we have 100 characters. I don't think it was 100. I think it was like 30.
Yeah.
It was like, we have 30 characters that you can play. And now we're getting into the 300 mark. And I think they said somewhere it's going to be like 500 that are going to be in the game, but you will be able to play 300 of the characters.
It's just so telling about how huge this game really is. I mean, like, just watching through that, not necessarily playthrough, but like just that whole like, oh my gosh, we've got planets, we've got space stuff.
Combat.
Yeah.
It looks really robust space combat.
Yes, it does. I was impressed. I know when it came on, I was like, what is this? Because this does not look like Legos, but it is, and this is cool.
We got a really good look at the many different mechanics, because it definitely seems like it's going to be the most robust Lego game in terms of the amount of things you can do. There was a moment where they were having a conversation with NPCs about who shot first.
Yep.
One stormtrooper was saying Han, one stormtrooper was saying Greedo. So maybe there's a level of like maybe side quest or something like that where you can, like in Lego Lord of the Rings, you have all those side quests with NPCs.
Yep.
So maybe you can have those conversations with them and just explore the world, because there are going to be free roam. You're going to be able to jump in a ship and select which world you're going to, I believe. I think that's the UI that you'll be, because there's that rotation selection of the planets that you can see.
Well, there's the rotation of what trilogy.
What trilogy?
And then there's the
also
galaxy
free
map.
roam. Yeah, I think the free roam is the galaxy map, and if you want to play through the story, it's that.
Okay, so my question is, will you be able to free roam every single planet?
I believe so. I mean, it's not like the whole planet, but you're
Right.
going to be able to play like
their
maybe Tatooine.
areas.
You can go to Mos Espa or Mos Eisley, or the Jabba's Palace.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
like there may be areas like that where you can go to.
Right. There's like a map to explore.
Exactly.
In every place, though.
I believe so. Yes.
And then the galaxy outside of that.
Yeah, you can fly around in space.
What?
It's gonna be cool.
I'm gonna be curious to see like what is how like linear it is, because I mean Lego games, they usually walk you through the story. You're trying to
you're
just
usually
unlocking
very linear.
everything.
You're trying to go through, but something that was cool about this is you're going to have multiple pathways to choose from, depending on if you want to go guns blazing or if you want to go silently. It depends on what characters that you load into these areas and these levels that you'll be able to have a story. Or not really, you're going to be playing through the same story,
Right.
But depending on what characters and abilities that you have with those characters, it's going to be a different outcome or a different way to get to that outcome. Which was, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. The amount of replayability that you'll have with each level.
It's like 300 times worth of replayability.
So they'll have like 3 different ways that you can go through a map. Or a story mission, to where like if you have a sneaky boy, you can go in sneaky. If you want to just go guns a-blazing, you can go that way. If you want to do a combination, you can do that as well. Play it just as the story goes, you can do that for sure. But like just the level of like branching storylines or ways that you get to those, it's crazy. That's something that we haven't seen in Lego games too.
Yeah.
So like I think they're pulling out all the stops, and I think the extra time that they've had for this game is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. You're feeling this whole like just all the thought they poured into this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
At least from what we've seen.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's the glitchiest thing we'll ever have.
That's true.
But at least the thought is there.
I hope not. Please don't be bad. I can't take any more of this.
Yep. But hey, they put it off for 2 years.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't want to say I have my hopes up, but I sort of have my hopes up.
I mean, it's a huge Star Wars. Like, it is the first, like, Star Wars game since The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
On Lego. and specifically Lego. I'm not talking like just Star Wars game. Obviously, we got all the other ones, but like first Lego game since The Force Awakens for Star Wars. And it's covering all of the trilogies. It's crazy. I know too, like when we were watching it, the level of fidelity that this game has, like just, it's gorgeous. The graphics in this game are beautiful.
Yep. I mean, that's why I'm here. I mean, I wasn't one to actually grow up with any of the Lego games, so I don't really have much of that nostalgia. I mean, maybe when I went over to my cousins, I might have seen them play some, but it was, I don't know. It was just like, okay, cool, Lego game. And I don't know, maybe just me being the youngest, no one ever handed me the controller. So
you got the controller that wasn't plugged in.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't have any nostalgia for it, but I'm excited to see what it looks like because it looks awesome. Like, and just to walk through the Star Wars world again. Yeah. It's a whole new game, it seems.
Yeah, and like we're playing through together Lego Lord of the Rings, and just watching you like realize what a Lego game can be like that has the best free roam, I think, of all of the Lego games. We'll see if this one.
We'll see.
But like just the fact that you can explore it without jumping into a menu to where you select the planet, like I don't think it's gonna.
Yes, that's what I remember. Is just you're in the lobby thing, and you just go through certain doors, or you just go through a something to go to a specific spot, and then you're just there, and you're walking through a story sort of thing. So Lego Star Wars was definitely my first encounter as far as like, oh my gosh, we can just roam around here.
Yeah, Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lego Lord of the Rings. Yeah. So that's been quite the something.
Speaking on like the nostalgia front, something that they waited until the end of this little gameplay reveal was mumble mode, which speaks to the nostalgia in me so hardcore. I love when I heard that they were going to be working on mumble mode. Oh my gosh, like. It makes me so happy. I'm going to try to unlock that and put it on as quickly as I can. I don't know how you'll unlock it. I didn't pay attention or see if there was any kind of teases on how you'll unlock it. Maybe it's like you play through the whole game and then you can unlock it. That would make sense. I hope not, because I want to put it on immediately. I know I said it wasn't like the Lego games aren't nostalgic for me at all, but what I have seen of the Lego games, there is like the mumble mode is a must. Like there's no. It's so Lego. It's so weird when they're actually speaking. I'm like, what? This is wrong. Like, why do they have voices? Why aren't they mumbling? Like, what? Why are they coherent? They should not be coherent right now. Yeah, especially like if they use voice lines from the movies. That was a time period that they would do that. Like Lego Lord of the Rings, they use the specific voice lines and they remix it. I think Lego Force Awakens did that as well. For certain characters and certain scenes. But honestly, I mean, you're always comparing it to the movies, and if the character isn't just right, like the voice actor that they have for Boba Fett in this game it's awful. It's the actor that played the kid version of Boba, but like he doesn't have the grit in his voice, and it's just so bad. It pains me. Oof. It sounds like a child is actually voicing over. I'll try to find a clip and put it here.
Bounty or no bounty, you're coming with me.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like I can't believe that made it through the cut. Like that is what I'm most looking forward to turning on mumble mode for, just not to have that voice line in there. It keeps you in the game. Like it keeps you out of I'm playing Star Wars or I'm playing Lord of the Rings. Like it's not that. It's more of this is the Lego experience. Yeah. So. Yeah. But like honestly, I'm so looking forward to this game as a whole. And I hope the extra time that they put into it really pays off and we see that level of polish. Like I'm so pumped to first boot that up. I'm definitely going to be playing it I'm thinking of doing like a nightly stream, honestly, of
Ooh.
playing.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
I mean, if you caught the streams, maybe you would be able to get the inner details on this. We stream every Saturday, or I stream every Saturday on the Star Wars Uplink channel, playing through KOTOR right now. Knights of the Old Republic. It's been fun. Last time I just gambled a lot, so it was great. I did win one. But highly recommend it if you are interested in joining us, joining me for a stream. That'd be great. Every Saturday about noon Mountain Time. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing like a daily, nightly stream. Probably is what it'll end up being. After work, hop on and play some Lego Star Wars. So we'll see how it goes. May need to bring a TV to the studio and have like a couch setups and get it all working at the studio. And then we can both chill and play some Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga and have some fun.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but that's definitely going to be happening. I'm so pumped. Like I can't wait. We're going to be able to play Coruscant.
Yeah, okay. This guy has been talking about, I mean, every chance he gets, he asks for a game where
I just want Coruscant in all of the Star Wars games. I don't understand why
them.
Every single Star Wars game has not had Coruscant. Battlefront 2015, no Coruscant. Battlefront 2, no Coruscant. Jedi Fallen Order, no Coruscant. Squadrons,
Zilch.
no Coruscant.
Nada.
Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, no Coruscant. Like, it's one of the most robust universes. It's got such a vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even seen it in the movie. Like, we haven't seen it in the movies. The only glimpse that we've gotten in the new Disney canon is in Rogue One. There's a flashback scene. Yeah.
What?
There's a flashback scene to when Jyn Erso is a child, and Galen and Krennic are having a conversation in their high-rise apartment on Coruscant. Yeah, like that's the only thing we've gotten.
Whoa.
It's ridiculous.
I'd like to also remind you that I've only watched that movie once.
That what? How? We've watched Solo like 5 times, and you've only
It's
seen
because
Rogue
it burned
One.
me, man. It burned me bad.
Yeah, just a little side tangent here. You were told it was the sequel to The Force Awakens, right?
No, see, this was the problem. I was not told anything going into the movie. So I thought, oh, it's just another, we're just going on along. Like, this is just the next one of wherever we're at.
It seems like they didn't do a really good job marketing that movie, because I've heard
guess
that from
not.
a few people.
Yeah, so I was extremely confused when Darth Vader comes on the scene. I'm like,
Wait
what?
a second.
Wait, who? Something's not right here. Like, whoa, we're really pulling out that? He's alive now? Oh, gosh, here we go. And then only to find out that I was the dumb one. And I was like, oh, I don't like that.
Man, Rey looks slightly different. I can't really put my finger on it, but something's not right here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Okay. It's still such an experience. We need to watch. I was just having this conversation yesterday that we need to do our yearly watch through of the Star Wars movies again.
Yep.
And I think this time around we start with, we start timeline wise, and we do include the shows.
Oh.
So that's probably what we'll
boy.
be talking about on the podcast as we go forward. It's just kind of like
just going back and
yep.
watching it. Yeah, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to watching the Clone Wars again, and I think we do it in timeline order, because Clone Wars, for those of you who don't know, like, I recently discovered this.
Jumps around, doesn't it?
It jumps around. It's an anthology. So, like, season 1 isn't timeline-wise season 1. So you'll watch episodes in, like, season 6 that take place in the time frame of season 1. And there's a way you're supposed to watch it, which broke my young brain.
Oh, wait.
Because I watched it as they came out, and I was
Did
like,
you
what
really?
the frick is going on here?
Because I think I watched it over COVID.
You watched it in lockdown, 2020.
Yep.
And then you watched Rebels. I still haven't caught up on Rebels.
How far did you get?
I got halfway. I'm on season 2.
You're missing out on a lot there.
I know. Everyone tells me that the 3rd season is where it gets good, and I'm like,
it's rough to get through 2 seasons to get to the good stuff, but it is true. It was often my background show where I just have it playing, and then you don't really have to focus on it too much. So, especially those first 2 seasons. But
I really wish that they stuck with the Clone Wars animation style for Rebels. I hate the look of the lightsabers. Little like toothpicks. It's like they're fighting with toothpicks.
I didn't really notice.
No. They're so thin. So thin. Okay. But going back to Lego Star Wars, really looking forward to what this game ends up being. I hope that it actually used the time well that they had added to it, and that we do get that robust experience. I think like we're to the point where like so many games have gotten delayed and then they also still come out bad that I'm scared.
Yep.
Like honestly, if Traveler's Tales, if you guys can't deliver a good game, delay it again, please. I'm sorry if this does happen. I'm sorry about it, but
if it's in working order, just delay it. We will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. We've waited 2 years so far. It's fine. But I think from what we've seen so far, it looks pretty good. There was a couple scenes where I was like, that looks kind of strange. There was the scene with the jetpack trooper. It was the sequel trilogy. It looked a little strange, and I don't know if it was just an earlier build or what, but that was like all of the scenes look great except for that one. I was like, that stands out. But
interesting.
I think it's going to be, I hope it's good. It's definitely expanding and evolving the combat of the previous Lego Star Wars game. They're still implementing the cover system, so that's another aspect that they're adding to the Lego system for Star Wars.
Even just aiming.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can shoot different areas. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't pick up on that until like just the last time I saw it. I was like, wait a second. Yeah. That's right. You were just aiming randomly.
You were just spam B.
Keep hitting the button. Yep. So that's cool.
Yeah. I think they're really nailing down and expanding the formula that we've come to know Lego games for. And they keep on doing this. I've said this before, but like Traveler's Tales has been like one of the most consistent developers throughout the years. Obviously, they're working with IPs that are already set up, so they don't necessarily have to build it from the ground up, pun intended. But they have such a solid track record of like all of the Lego games that I've played, I've loved. I still haven't played like Lego City Undercover or the Incredibles game, or I played all the Lego Batman games. I've played Jurassic World game. I've played all the Star Wars ones, Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I have
the
a question.
Hobbit. Yeah.
Do you think that in playing this humongous and like all snazhed up, zhuzhed, as some would say, all zhuzhed up game, do you think it's going to be harder going back to the older games? Or is it just nostalgia's clouding your whole being?
I went through recently and played Lego Star Wars 2, and it still held up. Okay. Like, obviously, it's missing some features, but like the core of it's so good, and it almost like some of the Lego games that I've played that are newer. Well, I've loved them. It's like Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. See, I almost said Unleashed. It seems like they were adding things to add them, and it didn't really fit all the time. But hopefully they made that better with this one.
Yeah,
it
probably
looks like
by
they did.
Now they've probably ironed it all out.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
Mumble mode.
I can tell.
I want it. I want it so bad. This is going to be good. So we're going to take a short break here, and then we're going to come back and talk about The Book of Boba Fett, episodes 2 through 5.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett. Sure. Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
This podcast is a production of Uplink Media Group. Uplink is a podcast network dedicated to highlighting the love and experience of gaming and pop culture. Check out our other shows, The Battlefield Show, Star Wars Uplink, and The Forge, the Halo Infinite podcast, as well as our YouTube channels for even deeper dives into Battlefield, Star Wars, and more. YouTube.com/Uplink Podcast and StarWarsUplink.com.
Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
So we've been watching The Book of Boba Fett, as I'd say most Star Wars fans have. Some people are definitely waiting until all episodes are going to be there, and then they're going to binge it. So this section is going to include spoilers. But first, overall thoughts. Juvenile, I think is that the word that you used to describe it?
I use that word to describe the music.
Yeah, the music's very juvenile. I think overall it doesn't know what it's trying to do. It doesn't seem like it's doing a good job of explaining itself or really nailing down the heart and core of the show.
Yep.
That'd be my spoiler free. So let's talk about episode 2. We got I love the details that we've gotten around the Tusken Raiders. I think that's something like I did a short about Tusken Raiders before I knew they were going to be in the show and so heavily focused. So I did all this research, looked into canon, looked into legends about what they have around Tusken Raiders. And like I had this level of detail, like I was picking up these little intricacies that they put in there for people who know or did the research prior. So I loved that detail.
It was honestly really great to be sitting there with you watching that, because I would never have known any of that. So it was like getting like a personal National Geographic
because like
guy sitting right next to me being like, and over here is where this they would never remove their coverings for blah blah blah.
So
I'm like, oh really?
Yeah. So a little Star Wars fun fact for everybody here. Tusken Raiders is a name that specifically refers to a massacre of the Tusken clan of the Sand People. So Sand People would be the technical term that you would use for them. Sand People and Jawas are different species from the same core. So there is one that evolved differently. So they're of the same kind of species, but they're offshoots of each other. Evolutionarily, they had different needs, so they developed differently. But both are very, very interesting in terms of how they survive the desert. They both heavily focus on covering themselves. Tuskens, as soon as they are born, they are put into coverings. They are protected from that. And it got to the point where it was purely for protection, and it became like a tribal ritual. The only times that they were able to take off, or they did not have their wrappings, was birth and coming of age rituals, and then weddings. That was the only time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They have goggles and masks to retain moisture. Moisture. Like they're super cool. They have a lot of detail, a lot of lore around them. It's super cool. Definitely something fun.
Yeah, so it made it a whole lot, like that made it the best part so far of Boba Fett.
Let's get in this. Okay. We have Book of Boba Fett, where they're just jumping back and forth. Back and forth.
Yeah, with his dreams.
I was trying to remember if we talked about the second episode or not, but no, we talked about the first episode, I believe, on the second episode of our reboot.
Okay.
Because the first episode we were talking about our hopes for Book of Boba Fett, and then we actually talked about the episodes.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to keep track in my brain.
It's been a while, guys.
Yeah. So we have these. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing, because as soon as the story starts getting good, they switch.
Yep.
Which we've been watching Lost recently, and they do a really good job of like switching focus around all of these different aspects, going back and forth.
Yep.
And I think Lost does a really good job of showing how well it can be done. So while we're watching Lost, every week we watch Book of Boba Fett, and it's like they're almost there. They need a little bit more time in the past, or they need a little bit more time in the present. They're stretching our focus too much, in my opinion. Of being like, okay, yeah, I'm really into this past story, but then they get to the point where like, okay, we're about done with this. Now let's go. Or they're not even to the point where they're about done with it. They're like, okay, we're just jumping.
Right. So I've been feeling, so in watching it, I feel like the past is a lot stronger than what we're seeing for the present.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
We get this whole like backstory where we're getting like just chunks of it, and then we get fast forward to boring. I'm supposed to feel for you,
but
I'm supposed to be cheering for you.
Good job.
But I'm over here being like, I don't care. I don't care about just go sit in your Bacta tank. And apparently you're getting healthy, but you're acting a lot weaker than...
We don't know why he's not healthy.
Yeah.
Like, they never show or tell us why he's not healthy. Because like we've talked about this before, in The Mandalorian, he's epic. He's kicking butt. He's one of the best episodes of Season 2. He was like the highlight of Season 2 of Mando. Like, that whole underneath story, and then the point where he comes in and helps Mando is fantastic. It's so cool. And then we see him in this, and he's old, he's slow, and they don't transition. They don't show, oh, hey, he was actually doing his best, but like, man, that took it all out of him, and now he has to recover because he never really recovered from the Sarlacc pit. Right. They never tell us that.
No, they don't.
They never show us that.
Mm-hmm. And we can say that for a fact because it's, we're 5 episodes in now. Yeah, so... I don't know. We're supposed to be believing that he is getting better, being in this Bacta tank and all this.
But as soon as he gets healed, he gets the crap beat out of him.
And he's just weak. And we're supposed to believe, okay, so he's better now. He's getting healthier. Apparently, when in the past, fresh out of the Sarlacc pit, he's kicking butt and doing cool things with the sand people. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm still not seeing this connection between where he came from, where he is now, and why he acts so differently. Yeah.
And apparently he's just like
the moment you sit in the throne, you're jobified or something.
There's such a disconnect between the end of Mando Season 2, where he's like, they seem to have the vibe there. Everything's dark. And then you jump to actual Book of Boba Fett, and it's like, oh, hey, guys, we're in a soap opera. And today we're following the journeys of an old man as he tries to go from his palace to town to get his butt kicked to where he has to go back to his palace. Like, he's supposed to be ruling with respect. And, like, how can you respect that?
I want to talk about just the feel of it for a second, because we were recently reminded about the grit in Mandalorian versus, and then
Mando has such a vibe.
I know, it's got such a good, I don't know what you call that.
There's like the color grade itself. There's the lighting, the set design. Mando
even
himself,
just how it's shot.
Yes.
Yeah. It has this commanding presence in and of itself.
It knows what it is.
Boba is just over there cooking in the sun. La la la.
But man, his teeth look great.
His teeth look amazing. Give me some of that Bacta, please.
Yeah. So
it's
really
just
strange.
Washed out. I don't know. It's just.
Was it episode 3 or 4 that we get the mods? So we get a flashback scene to Fennec Shand joining Boba Fett. Boba Fett
I feel like that
goes.
was
it 4th? Yeah, yes. I think it was the 4th one. I can't really remember what happened in the 3rd one. Was the chase?
Yeah, the 3rd one.
Yeah, the 3rd one was the chase.
Yeah.
The 4th one, we get the backstory of Fennec Shand. It's a pretty good episode for the past scenes, I think. But when you jump to the present, it's like really weird, as usual. But I think the thing that really stands out is the whole modding, the body mods thing that they have. Yeah. Like it totally doesn't fit the vibe of the story. Or like it's this super high tech, almost tattoo parlor where they do body modifications. It's like, how is this on Mos Espa where
I know.
they like struggle to get water, and
It's really fascinating what they're putting into Boba Fett. Because it's
Yeah.
just, it's like, okay, so we're following this legend. Honestly, he is a legend that,
do not know who I am.
yeah, but we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, like we
at
have
this point,
actually,
we know who he was.
right. But we, like, this is a whole new story for us, unless you're like read books, I suppose. But
even then, like, those books are not canon.
right. So who is this guy? And this is the story we're being told, where he's going into like to these
Let's go to
tattoo
tattoo
parlors to save a life, and like, yeah. This whole, it's very confused. This is like, oh, and there's no grit.
Yeah.
So you expect, okay, if we're going to be planning to go into a tattoo parlor where we're actually changing
On
body
Tatooine.
parts on Tatooine, you think, oh man, this has got to be like cyberpunk.
Yeah, you're gonna
grunge
have
and like
robots hanging from the ceiling, their arms disconnected, their eyes still like slightly coming to life.
Yeah.
Nope, it's a almost empty parlor where someone is on a table and
and don't forget those super chrome.
oh my gosh, yes.
The colors, man. Oh, the colors.
The stupid freaking chrome speeder bikes that go the speed of a Walmart. What do you even call
I
those
don't even
things?
know.
Little carts that
Yeah.
have the motors on them that
Motor
usually,
cart.
yeah, the little motor carts at Walmart. That's how fast they seem.
Yep.
The chase scene is so bad.
Yeah, like could we at
I could
least,
run faster than that.
What are those bikes called? The butt rockets? I don't know what those
Crotch
are.
rockets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least make them sit like they're on a crotch rocket.
Yeah.
Instead of this granny moped
They look
thing.
like scooters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
I'm,
weird.
There's just a lot of vibes going on,
Mhm.
and it's very confused.
Yeah.
And I am very confused and frustrated because I want Boba to be epic.
Still don't like the music.
The music is confused. It feels like they're often playing the wrong
Yeah.
feeling.
Like you're in this super intense moment and you're like,
what is
this
the
should
music
be
doing right now?
Yeah. We literally in episode 4 we're like,
We had to like rewind. We watched the whole thing and we rewound and we're like, okay, but this moment right here, why did they use this music?
Yeah.
It was when he was reunited with
It was
his
like Spy
plane,
Kids.
with his ship. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Music is the soul of this thing, and if it's not right, it's
yeah, it was so noticeable.
yeah.
Now, let's talk about episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett.
Wait. Are we sure we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett right now?
You mean Mando's
The Book of
season 3,
Mandalorian?
the prequel?
Yes.
Okay, so I love this episode
Oh my
so
gosh.
much. It was so good.
It was a breath of fresh air.
It was freaking incredible because Mando is such a well-developed character at this point. They know exactly how to make him like this was an episode of Mandalorian.
Yes, it was.
That was it. Like we didn't see Boba the entire episode. And like we had this conversation afterwards. It's sad when the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett, a character that we've been waiting for 40 years to really know what happened to him after he fell into the Sarlacc pit, that the best episode of his show is one that he is not in.
Yes. Like that just hurts my heart. And I've been feeling this like all week, just thinking about it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
How do you get it so wrong? Where
Oh, dude, the opening scene in that episode is so good. It's delicious. After we finished it, we were like,
we were hyped. We were like, let's go. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we need to talk about
the combo theme.
the combo theme. What? You're telling me this is Book of Boba Fett? We've been getting the same theme. And then suddenly we get a combo theme. This is not the Book of Boba Fett anymore.
No.
This is the Book of Boba and Mando.
This is the Mando show.
Yeah, no, it is literally the Mando show now. Because we're not now. I'm like, oh, forget Boba. Let's go.
Screw
let's go
that
find
old
Grogu.
man. I want to
Come
go
on.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Shiny boy, let's go.
Yeah. Like, forget it. I'm way more attached to
Yeah,
whatever.
Who cares about Boba Fett?
Whatever Mando has as a gift
Yeah.
for Grogu. I want to know what that's about.
I've
like,
never
what's
had
that?
so much emotional connection to a little rapping.
I know. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would, if you are listening to this and you have a different opinion to us, I would love to hear that. Reach out at contact@uplinkpodcast.com. Let us know, because I would really love to hear what you have to say about the Book of Boba Fett. What are some of the points that you really enjoy about the show? Like, I was talking to an old member of the Battlefront community. Sledgehammer is the name he went by in the Battlefield or Battlefront community back in the day.
Aw.
He was the community manager for the game Battlefront 2015.
Wow.
And he had the same thing. It was like, anyone just feel like the show's off? And I was like, yeah. And there are moments that feel so great, and it's like, man, this is cool. Like, Star Wars is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's moments. It's like a couple scenes in the show in its entirety of 4 episodes so far. And then you see something like Mando in this setting where it's his episode. Like, they know his character so well. They know the arcs. They know the story beats that they have to have. He's struggling to, we know why he's struggling. We know some of the things because they did such a good job of setting up his character and showing his motivations, which we don't know for Boba Fett. Also, Beggar's Canyon and just the callbacks to the prequels in an original trilogy feeling setting, like redoing the Naboo Starfighter.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
That
my
was
gosh.
amazing. I mean, like, I don't usually vote for, like, trying to pull at our nostalgia strings and
But
stuff.
they did it in
and
such a fantastic
oh my
way.
gosh, that was amazing. Like, there's, like, I was not expecting it. I was not expecting that at all, and it surprised me, and
Yep.
I am not unhappy about it. Like, give me some more.
That was good fan service. Like,
Yes.
I think I've complained a lot about fan service and many different types of things. I think for a lot of times it struggles to really nail and fit a spot. I think there's, I mean, if we talk about Mando season 2, the moment where Luke comes in, it's, I in my personal opinion, I hate that scene because it is a Deus Ex Machina moment where they have no way to get out of it. They've written themselves into a corner that can only be a thing of eucatastrophe is the term that Tolkien coined, which is how he described the Eagles. Like, we automatically understand when something randomly goes wrong. Eucatastrophe is when it randomly goes right.
And it's
I
just
think
not.
it seemed like that was that case for the ending of Mando, where, and they weren't even trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
It's like they were 100%.
They worked themselves to that corner, and they just said, "Oh yeah, okay,
We're done.
but that's just what it's done.
Yeah.
That's just is."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, so I think that was a fan service that didn't really land for me personally. And Luke is one of my favorite characters. I used to cosplay as him as a child. Like, I had one glove that was a robot hand.
Oh my
I had my
gosh.
Taekwondo like garb set up with a brown belt that my dad had, that I had a lightsaber
Oh my
tied to.
goodness.
Like, Luke was my character, and like, it felt on such a level where, like, I wasn't happy when he showed up. That's a different thing. We'll talk about that. I definitely want to rewatch Mando.
Yes.
But my goodness, that episode was so good. Even the annoying little lady on
Yep.
Tatooine, she was bearable.
Yep.
Which very much surprised me because she was
Okay.
so annoying in the first season.
Okay, but how do you feel about the BD unit?
I'm so confused.
Yes.
It's obviously a different BD unit. Maybe?
Is it? It looked a lot
So
like it.
something that some fans pointed out is they're using the same animations as the games for it.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, obviously, it's a series of droids that they're going to be more of, but it's so interesting. Like, I want a video game character to cross over to live action so badly.
Yes.
I want old man Cal Kestis so badly. That's who I was hoping would come up to
Really?
to Grogu's message, not Luke.
Yes.
But like they have to work their way up to that, obviously.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think it is the same droid.
Yeah.
I think it's a different one. But I love seeing another BD unit.
It was really cool just to see him. Especially when he did the hologram thing where he did the thing.
That was so cool.
Even though it's like, come on, Mando, you totally knew where that went.
Yeah.
You just wanted to see that, didn't you? Just wanted to make the droid feel like he was doing his part.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just because Mando has a soft spot for little things.
Yep, exactly. So good. And the whole moment where it's like, have you ever taken your mask or has it been taken off of you?
Yes. That was powerful.
It was. The silence was palpable.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
This was the setting, and I think it's interesting too. Like people were, I've seen this a few times. It's like people are either they're frustrated, fairly so, that Boba wasn't in this episode, and it was a tie-in to set up the stage for the next episode or the next season of Mando. But honestly, like, I think this is our Marvel moment where we're going to start to see these things interweave and interconnect.
Yeah.
And I think it's just noticeable because we haven't seen it to the level that we saw it this week. And we expect it so much in Marvel movies that it is jarring in Star Wars. But I don't think they're going to do it at the level of a Marvel because you have to work up to it. And I don't think Star Wars is there quite yet. Okay.
But what Marvel does right is that they don't introduce a character and then put in other characters that, or do they? Have they done that before? Where that's
What do you
like,
mean?
Okay, so like, if you are introducing a character, you're trying to build up people to like relate to this character, to figure them out even. You don't have an entire episode dedicated to another character that you're already dedicated to. You know? Like, why would you do that?
I think that's the weirdest part. I'm happy that they went that way because they did such a good job through that episode.
You're happy because it's the best episode that we've seen so far.
Because it's not Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Which I never thought, like, if I told my younger self about this, he'd slap me.
Yeah.
And be like, what are you talking about, you idiot? But on the level of it as a show, I think it is very jarring to have this arc of a character be completely sideswiped by a different one.
And I think it's more than jarring. I think it's rude. That is disrespectful to Boba Fett.
But it just shows like how little they understand about the character. 'Cause like you have Mando, who you set up this wonderful arc for. You have a wonderful storyline. And then you're like, well, fans really want Boba Fett back. And it would bring in a lot of people to Disney Plus. So let's make a Boba Fett show.
So you think that it's literally just fan service?
I think that's definitely part of it.
Yeah. You think they rushed the story then?
I think so. And two, like we have to think about it too, because this was filmed during I would assume it was during the original or Delta variant of COVID. So you can definitely notice too, like how they're using and shooting the scenes. Everything is like, if you pay attention to it, people are in groups and they don't really match up.
Yeah. It feels like a
stage.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like the old way of shooting TV shows, like
where you have a steady camera.
Yeah. And it's just one room.
Yeah, because like they have to separate the people because they don't want cross-contamination and eventually or having someone shut down the whole production. Yeah. I think that ultimately comes down to, if they do get a second season, which I hope they do because they're building out the foundation of the character, it makes sense that it would get a second season. I think if it does, they'd be in a much better place to be like, okay, this is our character. We know what we're going to do now. We've gone through all of the growing pains, because they have
some serious growing pains right now.
Yes.
And it's concerning. Like, that worries me, because we got such a fluid and themed show with Mando. And now we're getting this confused mess.
Yeah.
Like, how I'm not convinced that they're going to figure this out by the second season.
I think it would have a better chance as a second season. Hopefully by then we have a little bit more leniency in terms of shooting things.
More like leniency, where they're just leaning on the Mando stuff.
Yeah. And maybe Boba becomes that secondary character. We see what he does through Mando in little vignettes. He comes in and out. He's maybe he's the character. He's the guy in D&D that like comes in every now and then.
I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated that they made a show for him. If that's all he should be, and maybe he should have been. Maybe he should just be that side character who just, we're always in it, veil a mystery behind him, sort of thing, instead of showing us a weak character that we can't root for.
Yeah.
That's just sad. Makes me angry.
Yeah. We'll see about next episode. I mean, I think there's 2 or 3 more episodes left in the season, which is, I don't know how they can wrap it up in that little number of episodes, especially considering they dedicated a whole one not to Boba Fett, but to Mando.
Right. Don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Should be exciting, though.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's like, it's Star Wars, so we're all talking about it. Like, I spent like 20 minutes talking to a friend of mine in the parking lot about Star Wars. It was great. Like, it's definitely something, like, whether you love it or hate it. I think even if you don't, or if you struggle with the relationship to the characters and the arcs that they're saying, like, we're still having a fun time watching it. I'll give it that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like, man, I'm going to just freaking tear out my eyeballs and this is so awful. Like, it's
just the next step in Star Wars that they're doing, so you can't complain.
Exactly.
It's just frustrating when you want it to be better.
Exactly. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yep.
But with that, thank you all so much. Again, if you do, I would love to hear your thoughts around it. If you have a differing opinion, send it in. Reach out on Twitter. Reach out it's at Star Wars Uplink on Twitter, and then it is contact@uplinkpodcast.com. Or if that doesn't go through, you can always reach us at battlefrontpodcast@gmail.com.
Even if it's just one little thing that's either bugging you or something that you're like, no, wait, it was good because of this moment. Please let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I'd love to be able to see the show in even just the smallest little bit of a better light. That'd be great.
Exactly. Yeah, let us know. Would love to hear it. As always, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Star Wars Uplink. If you did enjoy it, leave us a review. It helps us out a ton. Lets us hear your feedback and attracts new listeners to the show. You can also rate us on Spotify now. So definitely rate us on there. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the places. Come join us. If you did enjoy this content, definitely do consider subscribing or following the feed so you never miss an episode of this podcast. And definitely check out our YouTube channel. We stream every Saturday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. As always, may the Force be with you.